Hey there, welcome back to my channel. You're watching part 10 of the video series that I prepared, in which I'm presenting to you the content of TOK essay I wrote, Deconstructing the Human Condition, of which again you can find the full text on my WordPress blog, which is erikvandepoel.wordpress.com. In this episode I am going to read to you a section of chapter 9, which is about the human sciences. Here goes. From Mesopotamian times onwards, which is some 10,000 years ago, extensive and meticulously kept records specify, albeit with intermittent and on occasion massive disturbances in the continuity of the timeline, the efforts and assets that we as a species have invested in both capturing and quasi-intelligently predicting the dynamics of local man-made economies and naturally occurring weather systems in scientifically sound theory and practice. Science as a human endeavor in our time is conventionally bedecked with jubilant qualifications like reliability, precision, objectivity, testability, and self-correctiveness, on the provisory that its objects of study do not interact with our plane of reality in an emotionally overly disruptive manner that might cloud our understanding. Humans, engaging in science or otherwise, on the other hand, can be summed up as being moderately self-conscious and relatively intelligent animals with a whimsically creative and unpredictable nature, which in turn apparently defies meaningful quantification and explication according to our own human theories. So let us look at this paradox a little closer. Science, the self-proclaimed hard scientific disciplines like physics and chemistry, as a field of study and an area of knowledge in general, investigates and describes the natural world surrounding us and of which we ultimately are an inextricable part. And it does so by way of a carefully laid out plan comprising 4 key steps: observation, measurement, experimenting, and the formulating of universally applicable laws. When observing humans at play in the fields of reality, as is typically the case in the so-called soft sciences like sociology, geography, psychology, anthropology, and economics, 2 major limiting factors need to be taken into account to put the art of methodically neutral surveillance into context. Firstly, we have not even begun to master the art of putting decimal places on the extent, depth, and plasticity of human thought, in the sense that we can only offer educated guesses as to the mindset of a given person based on verbal accounts, outward appearances, and behavioral characteristics. But these seldom turn out to be conclusive, let alone accurate. Secondly, given the circumstance that a generous majority of socially aware human beings in general display a tendency to seek peer acceptance in some form or other, and the simple act of observing their behavior can and does prompt people to modify their behavior to accommodate the observations of researchers. This is also known as the observer effect. A derivative effect of this aspect can be summed up as the self-fulfilling or self-negating prediction. When researchers venture into the realm of predicting human behavior, subjects may decide to, and have been known to, either deliberately or subconsciously direct their actions in such a way as to willfully bring about or sabotage a predicted outcome. The human sciences would in all likelihood not be proper human sciences if they had not come up with a number of creative strategies to try and circumvent these obvious traps. A strategy to avoid, or at least minimize, the risk of these effects occurring goes by the name of habituation, and has been designed to allow the subjects of a research project a desensitization period to get used to the actual presence or close proximity of the researchers. Deploying hidden cameras as a tactical move around the observer effect may yield positive results, but it can and does raise a number of ethical issues too, albeit that when taking stock of the number of currently operational CCTV systems in major and minor human population centers the world over, it would seem that the ethical questionability previously surrounding this particular observational strategy is no longer a pertinent source for disagreement. Whereas its penchant for verifiable measurements in gathering empirical evidence lights up the natural sciences with an aura of precision, to date, any attempts by the soft sciences, also termed human and social sciences, to conclusively fathom human consciousness and its subsets, for instance thinking, feeling and remembering, have not proved very successful. In part, the stalemate can be clarified in observing that many human science researchers to date tend to vehemently disagree about the efficacy of their respective approaches for probing the 3D plane of human thought in such a way that it can be meaningfully charted, that is, in a practically applicable and possibly paradigm-shifting way. A plethora of less or more well-established schools of thought known under the umbrella term of psychoanalysis, originally pioneered by the Austrian neurologist Sigmund Freud at the start of the 20th century of the Christian calendar, postulates that human consciousness, with its supposedly layered, as in onion-shaped, and compartmentalized structure lends itself to be dissected into ever smaller units, preferably captured in the shape of verbal expressions, which in their turn would be open to numerically instructive and therapeutic interpretation. A dissident school of thought in this arena of scientific human-on-human investigation is attributed to William James. He was a 20th century American philosopher and psychologist who apparently coined and fielded the stream of consciousness theory to go against the current of accepted layers of consciousness belief. Stream of consciousness as a psychological theory refers to the integral and continuous nature of the flow of verbal and non-verbal expressions of thought in the conscious human mind, which, because of its all-inclusive shape, assumingly defies the grasp and clinical logic of mathematical equations. Incidentally, the spiritual roots of stream of consciousness as a theory can be traced back to early Buddhist writings expounding the tenet that the existence of both individual and personal human consciousness is mostly illusory, in the sense that the experience of individualized consciousness in humans is inherent to our human shape, and that beyond the limitedness of the human mind, we all originate from and exist within the same universal source or stream of consciousness. Since its inception, psychoanalysis as a science in general, and Freudianism in particular, has seen its share of criticisms from adamant non-psychoanalysts in being labeled as largely unquantifiable and untestable in its apparent bias towards the confessional-like exploration of unconscious, sexually tinted emotions and the relative subjectivity of individual analysts interfering with the psychoanalytical process. So this is a section of Chapter 9, The Human Sciences, of my TOK essay, Deconstructing the Human Condition, again, of which you can find the full text on my WordPress blog, which is erikvanderpoel.wordpress.com. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like, subscribe to my channel. If you have questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section. For now, thank you for watching. My name is Erik van der Poel. I hope I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.